You got 2 knees, 2 shoulders, and 2 elbows, but you only got 1 back, and you jacked it up today. Guess that means we ain't doing nothing today. Yeah, right, who you fooling? Come on, man. Not even a back injury is gonna stop you from getting this workout in. All right, come on, let's go to the doc.
The Colonel's right. You only have 1. So let's unjack your back. Now, falling off of a ladder or a tree or just injuring your back with a traumatic injury can be very devastating. And for people who've had a surgery or who've had so many things they've had to go through to get their back in a position where they can even move and walk again can be very devastating. But here are some things that you want to understand that we've used to help our patients not only find hope, but find some improvement and solutions for the pain that they thought would never be able to go away. One of the things that's vital to do is using our SMS therapeutic method. And this method is a way of not only addressing the tightness and the stiffness that people feel in their back region, but helping to reset the nervous system and the nerves that actually contribute to some of the pain. So one of the best exercises a person can start doing to examine to see what they'll be able to do as far as recovery and improvement is the lower trunk rotation. The lower trunk rotation is great because as you're on your back, you're able to make segmentations of movement without affecting the entire spine. The ground acts as a platform that stabilizes the spine, and as you rotate those hips back and forth, you control how far the lower spine begins to rotate based on how far you move your hips. So what does that mean? That means doing this in a pain-free range of motion is the starting point. How far can you move your knees side to side without feeling pain? And even if you can only move your knees in a little or a small range of motion, that's gonna be beneficial because what you're doing is you're sending communication to your nervous system that movement is okay, you're able to move. And this is typically gonna be done after a person is way past the acute phase, meaning this isn't something you just had happen 2 or 3 days ago. It's a pain that you've been having for a long period of time after a chronic injury. So after 6 months of having back pain and issues, and maybe for people who've even gotten a surgery, this is something that you're going to want to start incorporating, but from a different perspective. The goal isn't to get as much motion as possible. The goal is to start communicating to your body that pain-free motion is possible. So in the way of stretching, one of the things that we can do is this prayer pose position. And there are ways that we can stretch the lower back, and by sitting in this crisscross position, this is also going to stretch out our hips, which is indirectly going to help to relieve some of the pressure from our lower spine and our sacrum. Keep in mind, as you do this reaching forward, you control how far you go forward, which can control how deep the stretch is and can affect people in terms of the amount of pain or discomfort they may or may not feel. Again, pain doesn't mean improvement. And so we want to be able to find what is the pain-free range of motion that I can actually do, which is actually going to help to get some therapeutic effect to my bones, my joints, my muscle tissues, my ligaments, things like that. As you're doing this kind of stretch, keep in mind you control how far you go and how far the stretch feels for you. Doing some strengthening exercises to help start re-engaging some of those core muscles is very vital. A lot of people think that working the back and getting the back stronger is the key to helping them recover fully, but you actually want to make sure you address the right muscles that help to stabilize your back, which are on the front of your abdominal region. And so this doesn't look like doing crunches or sit-ups, but it actually looks like doing some stability exercises that are quite simpler. And so the straight leg raise is a very simple exercise that can be done, but at the most basic progression of this, we can bring our knee to our chest. So doing multiple repetitions of this is actually going to help not only strengthen, but also mobilize our spine through using our hip muscle energy. And so what does that look like? It looks like your psoas muscle that connects to your spine, your lower spine. These muscles, as you're moving your knee to your chest, are going to help to mobilize the spine in a way that's very comfortable without a lot of pain and discomfort, because there's going to be very minimal torque on the spine, especially being in a flat position where your back is already stabilized on the ground. It's a great way to almost trick your body into realizing that there's a ability for you to move without having overwhelming stress applied to the spine. So when you're doing a basic straight leg raise, this is going to involve you tightening the quad muscle, pushing your knee all the way down, keeping that knee nice and stiff, and then pointing your ankle toward your face. So toes toward your face is really important to help keep that quad nice and stabilized. As you're lifting that entire leg up, realize that this produces a lot more torque on the lower spine. So it's gonna require some more engagement from the core, which is a great way to, without thinking about it, get that core activated, which is gonna help to relieve pressure from the spine in the long run. You wanna think about starting off, seeing if you can do 10 repetitions without pain and discomfort, and progressing even up to as far as 20 repetitions. And you can break those repetitions into 2 sets of 10 or even 3 sets of 10 as you start to get ambitious and start to get stronger. But the key thing here that you're doing this, as you're doing it, is to do it without pain and discomfort. As we progress this to become even more advanced, we can put a lot more force on our spine and challenge it in a positive way by lifting our opposite leg to a 90-degree position. So the 90-90 hip to knee position while you're doing that straight leg raise is very, very beneficial for people who are more advanced. Now, this can put a lot more torque and requires a lot more core and abdominal strength, but it's a great way to start progressing for people who are going to start getting ready to start lifting, doing deadlifts, squats, and other kind of aspects of heavier lifting that involve more core engagement.
All right, so yeah, maybe you were putting together your son's treehouse and that's where it all went to crumbles and you crushed your back and you don't know what to do about it. But this is the thing you have to realize. You don't have to let your back be the thing that stops you from being your 100% best self. You are not the only person who's had a back injury before, and you can bounce back. You have to first change your mindset and shift from the perspective that I'm just gonna sit here and wallow in how I've been feeling. What are you gonna tell your wife? I fell down and hurt my back and now I can't do anything ever again. No, you have to take charge of your own health and your destiny, no matter what people have told you. And we've helped dozens of patients and clients do the very same thing. And that's why I wanna invite you to our 5-day Better Body Challenge, because it's not the end for you, but the best is still yet to come. So I want to encourage you to take a more active role in your health and join our 5-day challenge. It's going to give you all the tools that you need to bounce back from any injury that you've had, especially when it comes to your back, because you only have one of them.
Check out this video that'll help you get rid of that crippling knee pain.